It works, and we are also joined at this very moment by 2 new subscribers, Crowdcast and Patrick M. Jones. Thank you very much.
And we are already underway in this match. This is a 4-in-1 match here between Mentosman8 and Nickynoel. The winner of this match will make it to the bracket stage. Period. End of statement.
Absolutely. As this tournament continues, these matches start to matter more and more. There's only 2 rounds left, and it's a very early map check from Nicky.
Thanks for Dark in the Sky for the Twitch Prime sub there as well.
We did get to see a vanilla green pendant for this seed, and it looked like 2 regular crystals in our other 2 light world dungeons.
And it's Fire Rod time. Well, that's one of the pieces for that glitch.
Yes, the big talk of the day is a recently discovered minor glitch in Mystery Mire. And for that, you do need the Fire Rod alongside the boots. If we're just going to talk this early about the escape sequence, Fire Rod obviously allows you to one-shot every single enemy. Farming is a bit limited since you do have to watch out for your magic.
Yep, you've only got 8 shots with the Fire Rod unless you can get magic drops. And of course there are a few little magic drops along the way to the back of escape, but you don't really want to have to go out of your way for them.
Players would prefer not to do that, and hopefully they will be able to find bombs along the way, already sitting at a nice comfortable 70 rupee. The rupees are at least flowing through here. So the mandatory escape sequence, you head to the basement, you find Zelda, you open the chest because Randomizer, that's more important than actually rescuing Zelda, and then you go through the sewers and find 8 bombs.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty good drop for Mentosman. Nicky is going to want to perhaps get another green sword guard killed. That may happen in the next room.
We'll certainly hope so. It's truly a bad feeling when only one of our players will have bombs for the 3 chests in the sewers. Oh, there's her 8 bomb drop, so she's gonna be happy with that. And this is indeed a fiery seed we have on our hands. 8 bomb drop, fire rod, and bombos.
Well, there we go. So, if you want to light things on fire, this is the way to do it. I mean, I don't want to make any early speculation, but I really want to make early speculation. I may be smelling a little bit of Ice Palace coming out of this seed. That's all I'm saying.
That is a foul odor indeed. There is still a lot of time left to go before we'll be checking out Ice Palace, because for now you have to make the slow walk back to the entrance. And with these rupees and with these bombs, there is no incentive for either of our players to do any sort of farming.
Yeah, absolutely. I expect them to head directly to the back, get those 3 chests, and then move right along.
It does feel a bit weird because usually it comes down to the wire. Will that rat, will that snake drop that 1 bomb? But this time, they have the bombs, they have the rupees, so we're just sitting here and waiting for chests to be opened.
Yep. Now, of course, there is that one little slightly annoying thing between here and there, and that's that 1 rat that you must kill for the key. I don't think they're going to have trouble with that with the fire rod. Because not only does the fire rod, kill it in one shot, no problem. Oh my goodness, the boots.
Okay, so we got the pieces necessary for that very spectacular Myrglis, but even without that, we got item locations already unlocked at Bonfrox.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things you'll want to try to remember as you leave. So the other thing, wow. Ooh. Mentosman actually took all 3 shots to hit the key rat. And to be fair, I probably would have done the same, because it was one of them lit the torch, which you don't expect. Yeah. So I'm gonna stop talking before I curse everybody.
Well, we're gonna get our hook shot here in the back, so we basically get all of the movement speed increasing items so early in this seed.
And the only thing I would want at this point is a mirror.
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you to Brotscheibe Deluxe for your Twitch Prime subscription. Thank you very much.
And if I'm not mistaken, we have not seen the map.
I think you are right with that.
And Mentosman kept a mental note of that. We'll be exiting the sanctuary at roughly 6 minutes and 5 seconds. Nicky is gonna pick that up.
So let's be honest here. Boots at escape basically confirms that the seed is not bootless.
Oh, yep. That's very true.
I'm just getting some logic in here. And that was the only item location that's actually unlocked at this point. It was just 20 rupees.
Alright, and it turns out our tier 2, tree pull is those set of bombs. So not bad. So Mentosman is going to get the information from the lumberjack tree, just a piece of heart. Nicky is going to skip it.
I think there's a little bit less incentive to go and check that if you already have enough rupees and bombs for Kakariko.
Right. However, the fact that you have the boots kind of pulls you the other direction, because you're going to need those boots to get that anyway.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. In general, players seem to just have this foregone decision if they're going to check Lumberjack or not.
Yeah, that's usually the case.
Well, we have picked up a lot of rupees, a nice 300 rupee for a later Sora check. And entering the very so lucrative Kakariko. And despite our very nice major items that have been acquired, there's still a good amount of items that our players will want to unlock to actually get progression in the new item locations they can check.
Yeah. We're of course going to be looking for the big 3 items for Dark World access, but we did find a sword for Nicky, and there will be one coming up there for Mentosman as well. We've also got basically all the money you can stand at this point.
Yeah, they can afford almost everything at this point that you will need in the entire seed.
Yeah, I think in total it comes to around like 900 if you add everything up, but it's, you're going to find another 110.
Yeah, absolutely. Rupees is interesting in the sense that when you need it, you never find it, but when you don't need it, you get it all the time. We're just going to mention a little bit about this sword. It is one of the pieces for AGA 1 access into the Dark World. Apart from that, weapon is always nice. It doesn't unlock anything though. Merchant with 10 arrows. It's the first 10 arrows, but they don't really matter.
And now it's time to move on to the chicken hut. What do we have? It is glove.
Well, that's a nice find, and we could possibly see a sequence break up to Death Mountain at some point.
Yeah, that actually unlocks, from a physically able to get to it perspective, what, 9 items?
10 items, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Spiral Cave is... You don't really remember it all that much, but at this point you do have the boots, so it's not that awful.
Also, the glove does put Zora in the logic, actually.
That is true, and they do have more than enough rupees to make that check.
Both runners just going for the race game.
Still looking for a lot of items, and they got bombs to spare and got boots. They're not going to be interested in that piece of heart.
Yep, both runners saving and quitting before making the jump. And Nicky is now headed toward South Hyrule. I imagine Mentos will follow suit.
Mentos also makes his map check, and this is still the standard opening route that you see players do. Even when you get access to like Dark World after Kakariko, players still like to go this route.
Yeah, it's very rare that you would see someone skip Mini Moldorm Cave for any reasonable amount of time.
And both players putting good use to the hook shot, so they only need one visit in the pond. Dam, or whatever it's actually called. I believe the official title for it is actually Ruins.
Yeah, I think so. In the spoiler log, it's called something like. So the pond one is Sunken Treasure, and the other one is like gates, some kind of switch. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up.
Those questions can always be answered at a later time, and just a few simple items here in the Moldorm Cave today.
Yep. Floodgate. There we go.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. And with the boots, dashing over to Ice Heart Cave is a pretty simple ordeal. This area can be a bit tricky to get to sometimes because it's so far away. But sometimes you do need to make the trip over here.
Yeah, when you got the boots, it's basically the best time to come over here anyway.
Yeah, it's very difficult to find another time, basically, if you can come back later with the flute.
Ooh,
well, and
book time.
Desert is fully beatable.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing stopping you from beating Desert.
And that is really uncommon to see so early on, but there's literally every single item for Desert is available.
I think Mentos may have just set up the boots water walk trick, or at least attempted to, in Ice Rod Cave, by dashing along the left side of the wall, or the thing, the cave, the hole in the cave.
Yeah, I get what you're coming at, but he may have tried to set it up, but sadly he didn't get it.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
And Nicky is making this sequence break up to Death Mountain. It is lamp or flute locked at this point, but as stated, there's a lot of items here.
Yep. And if you find, say, one of the lamp or the flute up here, you will know that the other one has to be available.
Oh man.
No, it looks like he got the boot water walk.
Yeah, he did. Oh, there's the flippers.
Well, there we go.
So flippers are locked behind lamp or flute at this point.
Interesting. Nicky actually saved and quit after getting those flippers. That does make a little bit of sense. You can just save and quit back to that particular location, the mountain cave, right after this.
I wonder if she planned to make that save and quit regardless of which item she found, or if this is just an on-the-spot route diversion to head to Sora and do Hobo.
Who knows?
Did you see 300 more rupees on the Sora lid? So if you didn't have enough already, you would have enough for Sora to rip you off.
Yep. At least it's only a minus 80% return on investment instead of minus 90 or something.
Yeah, they still have a good amount of rupees moving forward, so can't be that bad in this situation. And Mentos is gonna make this trip over to the desert area.
Yeah, desert has to seem pretty appealing right now.
Yeah, they have every single item needed to beat it, and it's a crystal, and general good game sense is it's a crystal dungeon I can full clear. Yeah, let's go full clear it.
Based on what we've seen here, I would be terribly surprised if the lamp wasn't over here somewhere.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Lamp or flute.
Yeah, I mean it could also be over at Eastern, but it's probably somewhere because of those flippers.
I do agree that the item must be somewhere, but I will say that it seems a little bit more likely that it is over here in the desert area.
Maybe you look at the ledge. That's a heart container. I'd actually probably go pick that up when I go outside. Just not that far out of the way, and it doesn't hurt anything.
Only sitting on 5 hearts green mail at this point. You never know when you will get access to the Dark World, and that's when enemies really start to hit hard. But Nicky is opting to head back up to Death Mountain after making these flippers checks.
Yeah, that leads me to believe that may have just been an on-the-fly adjustment when she did the first save and quit.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna see the blue mail on Spectacle Rock, not accessible without the mirror. Oh, there's the Moon Pearl.
Oh boy.
Well, this does support the theory that the lamp or flute is in desert or in Eastern at this point.
So Mentos found the small key in the chest, the one chest. Found the big key in its vanilla location, and the compass just south of that. So still haven't found any items in desert.
Oh, the myths!
Yup.
And Nicky just left after picking up the Moon Pearl, so she's heading to desert now, so she's gonna have her Dark World access.
Wow.
This rounding that she's doing is very interesting. On the flute, and that's the access of the Death Mountain. The seed has come around.
I'm not entirely sure I agree with the decision for Mentosman to just leave.
Yeah, I think he should have just continued with the Lanmolas, just get the crystal.
That being said, you're not like in the world's best position to kill Lanmolas right now. Like, I mean, you have the fire rod, but where's your magic at, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. Have we seen the Sun price yet?
I haven't really been keeping track. Someone might have checked it.
If the Sun price is a full magic, that is very helpful, but yeah, with that low magic and having to do Lanmolas with Fighter Sword, not very appealing.
And it's not that bad to just flute back over there and mirror once you get the mirror. Especially if you're going to have to clear Mire. We don't know if you're going to have to clear Mire, but, you know, for our runner's sake, I hope they do so they can do this silly glitch.
Everyone wants them to do Mire, and in that sense, even Mentos, with the name of his seed, is likely going to go back there at some point.
Nice. Everybody say hello to Swag Duck. Mentos gonna fly off up toward Death Mountain.
So we do have Dark World access. No hammer means you're very limited on where you can enter,
Oh,
but you will still have the flippers to head over to the east side.
you may note Nikki is actually going out of her way to pick up magic drops here. I expect her to actually go finish Landmo.
Yeah, I did see her lift up one pot which had a little bit of magic. Also checking that one additional pot there and hoping it's magic there.
There we go. Mentosman picking up the flute. Knows that none of the immediately accessible flute locations are there. But hey, you remember that thing I was saying about Ice Palace?
Yeah, I remember. I wish I had forgotten about it, but I do remember it.
Oh, like, they can actually get into Ice Palace. Like, you don't want to because you don't have the boots. Mentosman attempting to hover that gap, not quite getting there.
Yeah, let's go back to talking about ice again. What were you saying?
Yeah, so they can get in. You don't really want to without the hammer, because, ouch. But they could get into Ice Palace and clear out, you know, half the chest.
Yeah, you can do that. But if Mire is bombos, you can do that in Mire as well. So they do have a lot of opportunities to get into Dark World dungeons because of these super early myths and Dark World access.
So Mentosman doing a rarely seen bomb jump here, but it works out.
And Nick is going to be entering this Lanmola's fight with about half magic.
It is possible to take down all the land modes with this particular amount of magic. It's very difficult, and you have to get extremely lucky.
Unfortunately, she missed the first shot, so time for a very slow fight with the sword. And she also has to be a little bit careful, only 2 hearts and no potions.
Meanwhile, Mentosman is taking care of Paradox Cave.
Just finding some more leftovers.
There we go. Nikki takes care of Landmo. That was well done given the circumstances.
That's going to be our first crystal at about 23 minutes. Mentos is finding arrow-related items on the left side.
Wow, looks like Paradox Cave is kind of a bust today.
Sure is. It's getting more rupees that they don't need at this point.
We are, however, going to go ahead and see the Spiral Cave, and then after that, we may just go ahead and see the dark side of East Death Mountain.
Oof. No, this is really bad for Mentos.
Yeah, Mentos takes a death to a dead rock. The upside being he did manage to see the floating island item. It was just a shield.
There's a long track back over to the east side.
So the question is, does he go up again trying to do Spiral Cave, or does he skip it and go to the Dark World?
Still, this routing from Mentos works out very well. He didn't sequence break up here, but that just ends up working out in his favor since he can do this Dark Visit with it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Nikki is about to go activate that flute. I imagine may kind of join Mentos here in a second, or she may go to Mire or something like that.
Also, it's the possibility to check a lot of the overworld locations in the Dark World. Since you have the myths, you can do the frog tour. You don't have the mirrors, you're missing out on some item locations. Still a good amount of items. There are many locations that are open to our players at this moment.
So just a blue rupee in the spiral cave, so we didn't see anything important there. Nicky is just going to head for West Dark World now. The Skullwood / Thieves Town area.
And she did check out Kingstone before headed here, so she is heavily disincentivized even when she gets the mirror to go and check Graveyard Ledge.
There's our map check. We've got Skullwoods and Turtle Rock as pendants. It looked like Misery Mire was a crystal number 5 and the Cane of Samaria in the chest game.
So Misery Mire, one of our 5/6 crystals, is now fully beatable.
Gross.
Do you want to do that with Fighter Sword?
Do you want to do it without the
mirror!
lamp?
Mentos finds the mirror in Super Bunny Cave.
Wow, that's pretty big.
It is definitely an advantage when he's gonna go back to these areas Nicky is in when it's time for him to do the frog tour routing.
That looked like the Quake medallion on Turtle Rock.
I completely missed what medallion that was.
And it also, we have Palace of Darkness is our other 5/6 crystal.
And there's the cave. He's just helping out Mentos here when he's gonna make his Dark World trips. And it's a little bit more incentivized to check the Graveyard Ledge, King's Tome, and Bumper Cave area.
So Nicky is currently checking Thieves Town, which is one of those interesting plays you can make early on. Without the hammer, you can't necessarily full clear it. Oh! So close.
He played that as well as he could with using the hookshot for the invulnerability frames. It's just very difficult to get through there.
The only issue with that is he did just pick up the cape.
Oh yeah, he did. Whoops.
But I mean, who's gonna remember that? I wouldn't have remembered it.
He may have.
I know where he was going. He was just going to pick up the mail here. Maybe go into Hera.
Or save the magic to go into Spy Cave.
You gotta have the hammer.
Oh yeah, that's right. The hammer. I always forget you need a hammer for Spy Cave. Well, you can make this trip into Hera. He's got everything to beat the dungeon and can check the tablet while he's here.
Yeah, he's gonna basically clear out the vast majority of the things here on Death Mountain.
And he will be very unlikely to make a trip back here later, so I don't think this pendant Turtle Rock is gonna be high on his radar.
There is the big key of Hera, so we don't necessarily have to go down to the coffee break room.
Nick hasn't found anything in Thieves Town yet. He's found a big heart in the recent chest. Well, we are still looking for a couple of nice items in the sea. We're looking for the bow, we're looking for the hammer, and possible medallions. Is that it?
Yeah, basically. Bow, hammer. I mean, you kind of want the lamp.
Yeah, you kind of do. I still feel like our players are perfectly fine doing the dark areas in places like Mire. I'm not so sure our viewers wanted to see Dark Mire.
I wonder if you can do the glitch in Dark Mire. That would be impressive.
I think you can, but are you willing to try to execute that on the same day that glitch was unveiled?
I mean, Mentosman is so hyped for it. I don't see why he wouldn't.
Are you hyped for Moldorm?
I mean, I'm pretty hyped for Moldorm. It's, you know, vanilla equipment Moldorm. So, guaranteed speed dorm.
No!
Taking a fall.
And Nicky is handling this blind fight perfectly.
Well done for Nicky on blind. Just the map. So it does look like we might have left an item in the basement. I'm not for sure. Or the big chest. I'm not sure. But I know we had the key in the one spot where it could be in the basement.
I cannot confirm nor deny if the compass has been picked up or not.
The compass has been picked up. It was the first item. So yeah, map and compass, that means that the last item is in the big chest.
Yeah, so there could be something important there, but it's not the bug net because Nicky just found that.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of map and compass, Mentos picked up both of those as well in Hera, meaning there is a item in the coffee break room.
I'm a very big fan of how Mentos has decided to route this seed. This is very unfortunate with these deaths and Moldorm falls, it's causing me to lose time. We're sitting here waiting for something to happen on either of the screens.
That is an awful lot of digs. For a bottle, it's our first bottle.
That's a very valuable bottle. It may take some time for Nicky to go back and check that. She's gonna take the smith here and go for a bit of a tour.
Yeah, I imagine when she goes to turn in the smith, she'll also check that sick kid.
It's an advantage that Mentos will have with this trip, having the mirror.
Just a piece of heart in the basement of Hera. That's actually 2 pieces of heart as the 2 items. And there's the ice rod from Stumpsman.
You did not want to see that item since Turtle Rock is a pendant.
Oh, yeah.
Still are missing Quake, and Mentos is making a trip to the Mire area.
Like we said, Mire hype indeed.
Well, is it Bombos that we
And
need
he can
for
go
this
ahead
onion?
and finish Landmo, which he didn't do before.
He does have more magic, so besides that, it's the same equipment as before. And meanwhile, Nicky here with the Hype Cave.
Ooh, Mentos accidentally not erasing one of the blocks there in the Mire shed.
It's very unfortunate. Nicky's gonna find a shield, a piece of heart, 10 arrows, a big heart, and super hype lamp!
There's the lamp. Alright, so that fixes everything in my head.
And it's Bombos for Mire!
Alright, so no other medallions will be required for this seed unless there's something in Turtle Rock that we need. And it could be the bow.
Yeah, we're looking for... basically, yeah, bow and hammer at this point.
₹300 from the sick kid who apparently couldn't pay the doctor, so just paid you instead.
Mentos not gonna make this a big trip here in the Dark World. It's gonna be able to check a ton of item locations and much more effective than Nicky since he does have the mirror.
Wait, I have a better story. It is the proceeds from his malpractice lawsuit against the doctor. That's how he got to be so rich.
I'll pretend I understood that. Okay, I understood that. That was very smart.
I'm terrible. Okay, moving on.
We are all terrible, so no worries there. So, Mentos has found his cane, still checking areas here in Village of Outcasts, will likely make the trip into Thieves Town soon. Nicky's got Bumbles in hand and is gonna make this little trip into Mire.
Yeah. There's nothing stopping you. I mean, you don't want to do Fighter Sword Vidi, but sometimes you do what you do.
Fighter Sword Vitreous with no invulnerability item.
Gross. If I'm not mistaken, the Fighter Sword you would have to spin to deal any damage to Vitreous, yes?
I have no idea, actually. It's been a long time since I saw a Fighter Sword Vitreous. We will find out soon enough, because if you're dedicated to making this trip, then you are dedicated to be able to do Vitreous with Fighter Sword.
For those of you keeping score at home, that was 29 digs at the digging game. And the max it can be is 30, so there you go.
I like random elements in video games.
I mean, if you didn't like random elements in video games, you're playing the wrong game.
That's why I'm a commentator and not participating in the tournament.
I mean, I actually like what they've done with some of the random elements in this game, where they standardize it between both players so that you get the same amount either way.
Nicky is on one heart here, has to be very careful, no invulnerability item. But I still miss the good old days when they just decided that Aga is never going to have blue balls.
Yeah, that was an upside there. I guess they figured knowing how to deal with the blue balls of Aghanim is a skill that you should be tested on.
And Nicky decided to opt out of Mire, down to one heart, empty bottle, no invulnerability.
Yeah, seems legit. With that, Nicky is now going to check the right side of Death Mountain, and finally, I imagine, get that mirror at the culmination of all of this.
Absolutely. There's no reason for her to skip out on any item locations here.
Speaking of the mirror, Mentosman is going to check a location that Nicky was unable to, right here, with the mirror at the Grove Ledge. It's another bottle. It's got a green potion in it, and Mentosman is like, nah, I already got a bottle. We're good.
Yes. I still find it a bit interesting. It's like 2 seconds not to pick that up. 7 hearts, blue mail. He does have an invulnerability item, and he is on a risk of dying, seeing how low he is. But this speaks to either the optimization of time that runners on this level have, or how confident they feel in their ability to stay alive. And I say that as Mentos has already died twice this seed.
So maybe he's thinking, I have to save every possible second here.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be the case for him. If you died at any point in a scene, you get the hammer!
Oh, the hammer in the purple chest, that's gotta be... Yeah, that's gotta feel pretty awkward a little bit. But one thing you'll note, Mentosman actually skipped out on Thieves Town because he didn't have the hammer. And that could be pretty important when he goes in.
Absolutely. If the bow is in that big chest, that could be the hammer in the coffin.
So does that make the purple chest the coffin?
Yeah, I guess it does. I don't even know where I was going with that sentence. I did also get to see the Bombos tablet having nothing of value.
Yep, just arrow upgrades. I mean, all these arrow and archery related things, but none of the implements required to do so.
At this point, we are looking for the bow and a sword upgrade. And even then, Master Sword Silverless Ganon is not a fun fight.
But I imagine these runners would play the seed like they're in go mode from that point. Like, if you found the bow, I think you would play like you're in go mode and just hope to find a sword along the way.
Play like you want to do Swamp as your second crystal dungeon.
I don't know about that.
Swamp is weird. 6 items, most lucrative dungeon in the game. But on the other hand, go moding it is great.
Yeah, and I think because of the way the logic works out, the fact that Swamp has so many uniquely required items to it tends to just have lower value than the 6 items would imply. It's not guaranteed, and you can always find. It's always possible to find something important, but it just feels a little bad.
Yeah, it does. I think if you're looking for more items at this point, this is a fine play, but there's so few items that you're looking for, so is this really the play you want to do at this point over Thieves Town?
And Mentosman also, we saw, he skipped the bottle, and he's already died twice. Maybe he's thinking, I have to make a play nobody else would. Let's go Swamp.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Feeling he's behind and has to make a gamble. And Nicky has found her items over here on East Death Mountain. The mirror has been picked up, the cape has been picked up.
You know what I think would be the absolute dumbest place for the bow?
Pray do tell.
Peg Cave.
Ugh.
So you had to turn in the purple chest and then go back to Peg Cave to get it.
Ew. That's just nasty.
Could also be in Spike Cave. That would be fun.
I don't know. Just put the bow in Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, that's pretty gross as well.
I had a fun seed the other week that I really loved to bring up because it had a forced triple dip into pod. Mentos is gonna go straight for the boss here and hoping he's gonna be able to find the items along the way.
Yeah, I do not fault the left side skip here at all. Hookshot was Sphere 1, and so when Swamp became available, the entire dungeon became available. And that makes left side a little less likely than if the hookshot had been later.
I don't understand sphere logic, but I fully agree with everything you said.
Okay.
Mentosman's gonna have a very slow fight here on Vitreous. Argus, I mean, has to constantly bring up the menu to switch to the hammer.
We did note that Mentosman did pick up the big key in the chest below along with the compass, so not too much there. And decided to go ahead and head toward Argus, which means either he plans to come back in, or he's just not interested in going back.
And he's opting to do fighter sword spins instead of the hammer.
Yeah, I think if you optimize your fighter sword spins, this is a little faster. Mainly because menuing is a pain.
Yeah, menuing is absolutely a pain, and he definitely seems well practiced in this, and Nicky is gonna take down the speed orb.
Yeah, about the only way you can make the hammer version faster is if you hit 2 puffs at a time, I think.
Nice double hit with the fire rod.
Doing double burnination strats. There we go.
That was a really impressive fight to watch. Nicky's gonna head into this basement and be disappointed. We'll see if Mento's gonna go back in or not.
He is. And this makes sense. He's left at least 2 items on the table here.
And those could be some valuable items, and he has dedicated himself to this gamble.
So just to sort of recap, we found boots and hook shot and lots of amazing movement items right out of Escape. And we found full access to Desert Palace real early, and that had the works. Second glove and flute. And now we're looking for the hammer. No, the bow. We found the hammer in the purple chest. We're looking for the bow and another sword, and that will do it for everything you need for this seat.
And the seed has been quite nice with the way that the item locations have been, apart from that hammer.
Nicky was going to try to go into the Dark World towards Swamp, but doesn't have the hammer. Also, shoutouts to Nicky's rupee count.
Shoutouts indeed, not shoutouts to Mentos pushing the blocks wrong. And the problem with only having the myths as your item to get into the Dark World is that you only have that one path you can take to get in.
Alright, so Nicky is going to go for the Skull Woods place. Skull Woods is a pendant dungeon, which you don't necessarily want to dip if you don't have to, but it is sort of quick in the opening area. There is the Cane of Burna in the left side of Swamp, along with the map. And Mentosman apparently didn't check the big chest while he was running by.
Yeah, that's the only reason for him to be running back. Nicky's gonna find a big heart as her first item. So I think that Nicky's routing plan here is Skullwoods, first few chests, Bumper Cave, Graveyard Ledge, and possibly making the trip over to Catfish.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent play. And there's a green rupee in the big chest, so Swamp turning out to be basically garbage. The Cane of Burna being the only thing of any real consequence in there. And that's basically rendered moot by the fact that we've already found the cape.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you, Yuriso007, for your subscription. Thank you very much. And Commander Keats. My goodness, all the subs today. We are so thankful to have you.
Alright, so Mentosman is now going to dip into Thieves Town. That Mentosman will be able to get the 4th item, which Nicky was unable to get. It turns out to be the bow. That's going to be sort of a kind of the end here.
The hammer in the coffin.
So we found that plus 10 bomb upgrade. There. It's the big bomb upgrade.
It's always fine to find a
Ooh, powder.
powder. That's also fine to find.
Powder's the best.
Opens up a single item location. And this could lead her possibly back to the chest.
That's gonna lead her over to that location, or to that area anyway. Oh, and how could we miss the single arrow?
It's quite forgettable.
Exactly. So Nicky is going to go ahead and head over to the catfish. That could be a pretty big deal. I don't think either player has checked the pyramid itself either.
It's likely true you don't tend to make the pyramid check until you plan to make a trip into Palace of Darkness. And since neither player has found the bow, and especially Nicky's position not having the hammer, she's not really incentivized to go there.
Nothing at catfish, but it does look like Nicky is going to go ahead and come out the way she came in, meaning that I imagine that pyramid check might happen.
Yeah, otherwise she would have definitely mirrored and fluted. And thank you to Megaman31689 for your subscription. Thank you very much. So after this pyramid check, if she decides to go in to Palace of Darkness, it could either be absolutely horrible, or she finds the bow and it's very confusing.
Yeah, it could be kind of both ways there. Right, just 3 bombs on the pyramid.
She is not taking a mirror here, so this looks like pod to me.
Alright, Palace of Darkness. We'll go see Kiki and mess up that rupee count.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't the rupee count, the higher the number is, cause more lag?
Potentially. It's like very, very minuscule.
Oh, the mushroom in the big chest from Thieves!
So more delayed knowledge here.
I don't know if Mentos has checked the back of Sahaswala, but there was nothing there.
You know, I don't think either player has been over to Eastern Palace or Sahaswala yet. Which is kind of weird. It's 52 minutes into this, 53 minutes into this run.
Is this an accidental bombos?
No, I think it's on purpose. Once you get those out of the way, no chance of losing Kiki. Mentos takes care of blind, no problem. That will be Mentosman's 3rd crystal.
And thank you to Hamden Blenda for giving away a subscription to I'm Beautiful. I tried my best. I tried my best.
Oh no, that's not meant to be pronounced.
The bow is found in the first chest.
Oh my goodness, that's ridiculous.
What? That's no mode.
We still need that sword upgrade.
Yeah, we do need that, yeah. But our players are likely going to maximize crystal clears at this point. But Nicky still needs to go back to find that hammer. So what was in the pegs? I didn't quite get to see that.
It was a bomb upgrade.
I mean, we're just looking for swords and silver at this point.
Mentosman is actually about to do the fake powder trick with the mushroom.
Well, we do know this is technically not a sequence break because we have found the powder. Oh, there's a sword in Palace of Darkness!
Oh my goodness. Now, Nicky is actually going to clear out Pod looking for the hammer and is not going to find it.
Sadly, no, and it's still so awkward for her to go back and check that purple chest for the hammer.
Yeah. And all of these chests up in the front now are guaranteed to be small keys because we found the bow and the sword. That's 2 items. The rest of them have to be small keys. You need 4.
Well, the scene took a wild turn with this pod dip. Literally the 2 items that could have been in Nicky's favor were found.
Now, if Mentosman goes for Pod, that will be a very quick go mode.
Yeah, definitely. After that, you do have a good amount of crystal dungeons that you can go mode. You get Mire go mode, Ice Palace go mode. You can just make the trip back into desert.
There's the big key for Nicky. Speaking of Mire, Mentos is going for it.
This still makes
still on fighter sword.
Yeah, but this still makes a lot of sense for him to do. He has the hammer and he really wants to wait for the bow before getting into pod. So the worst item either player can find at this point is no item at all for Nicky, but for Mentos it's Quake.
Oh boy, if Mentos finds Quake, the Turtle Rock dip might be a thing.
And that's the thing for Nicky, since hammer is going to be her go mode item. She has no worry about the trip into Turtle Rock.
Absolutely. So Nicky did go ahead and piece out a pod. Looks like we are going to get a dip into Eastern Palace. Maybe? Maybe not. Nope, she's going to flute away.
And she was definitely thinking about it, but she is heading back to the Mire area.
Interesting.
She does have a better sword now, and more hearts. I also think she didn't have blue mail before.
Yeah, because she hadn't been up to the rest of Death Mountain yet. We may see her check, or somebody check Checkerboard Cave. While we're over here.
Checkerboard was checked, it was vanilla, piece of art.
Oh yeah, you're right. But she may also check it, since she hadn't had the opportunity yet.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. At this point, this is still a very close race we have on our hands. But I will say, with that sword location in Palace of Darkness, it's not like Mentos is going to miss that.
Yeah, it's pretty unlikely that he misses it. You get the bow, and then you're basically forced right side, and you'll pick it up.
Do you get to see a big heart here in Mire? So that's the first item.
And we know where the big key is. When you find a small key in that chest, you know that the big key is in the cutscene room.
Everyone's other favorite room.
Otherwise known as the vanilla location for the big key.
Nicky doesn't quite get that fire rod shot through the block. Still makes it in time. So nice weather, huh?
You actually do have quite a bit of time to get those torches lit. You have enough time to actually do it with the lamp if you want to.
Yeah, I've gotten to see a few seeds where the lamp has been used for that. The fire rod definitely faster.
Oh yeah, 100%. So there's the big key for Mentos Man. Still only found one item, so I imagine Mentos will probably be heading to the big chest and the nearby chest.
Yeah, making this trip here, especially for Mentos, really wants to find a sword or the bow before doing Vitreous, because fighter sword is not nice.
Well, he sure isn't going to find the bow. It looks like the last item is on Vitreous.
So on one hand, we have fighter sword hammer. On the other side, we have master sword bow.
Yeah, so I'm like a major, super high-end scrub lord at this game. So what I would probably do in Nickynoel's position is turn on the cape and just spam the master sword slashes.
Yeah, I also think that seems to be the case. And here's the big moment that a lot of players have been, or a lot of viewers have been waiting for. We will get to see this new Mire glitch here. Mentos is not going to do it. Oh, he's still going to. There's the block thrown in the hole. And now he has to get an item dash with this fire rod to hit an anti-fairy. Which he did, and that actually triggers the switch and allows him to go through.
It is the silliest thing in the world, and it works. And I have no idea why.
Yeah, me neither. You can actually do that a second time, so he doesn't have to go back here and flip this switch, but he decided to only do it once. So that is the first time we get to see that in a live race. Oh, bomb strats. I like this.
Yeah, that's definitely pretty good. Now, he doesn't have that many bombs, so he's just going to get a little bit of power in, and that'll do it for that. So now we're going to start spinning with the fighter sword. Nicky is going to do some master sword spins, followed by some arrow shots.
Mentos opting to use this blue potion. You can see how much faster it is to use the bow and the master sword in this situation.
Oh!
No, 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 no.
Nicky took a death from standing on the goo.
Oh, man. And now Mentos has to be very careful now. He's down to 2 hearts.
Alright, so Nicky finds that piece of heart in the checkerboard cave. I'm going to go ahead and peace out to another location.
It's such a nail biter here from Mentos. He's barely been able to dodge these eyes.
Staying over here on the right-hand side, because at this point in the fight, Vitreous will basically just be spamming lightning. Because as the number of eyeballs decreases, the frequency of the lightning increases.
And Nicky has gone and purchased some, or a single blue potion, and is heading back into Mire.
we are getting some Fighter Sword spin strats here on Vitreous. The thing is, Fighter Sword spins are going to take, like, somewhere on the order of 24 hits or something.
Could use the hammer,
Maybe
which
32.
is faster. Could use the hammer, which is faster, but on the other hand, down to 2 hearts, a single hit will kill you at this point.
Yeah, it's a lot riskier.
I think this is definitely the longest Vitreous fight I've ever seen.
Yeah, 32. I got it right the second time.
And Nicky is actually not going to lose all that much time here, because he will be able to do this fight faster. Can't the eyeball just die already?
Yep. Sure can. Oh. That had to be a harrowing fight. Gets the full heart, so just 2 full hearts in Mire.
That was extremely well played by Mentos, having the tenacity to go through with that. And Nicky is just going to make attempt 2 on Vitreous.
We're getting some cape dash strats here. The downside with cape dashing on Master Sword is that's not quite going to be enough to straight up kill all the eyeballs, but with that potion in hand, that might start doing it. There you go. 8 shots with the bow should take down Vitreous. And there we go.
And the thing is that Nicky definitely losing time here by taking this step, but Mentos still hasn't finished Desert yet, and Nicky already has got that one down.
So it's all down to when is Nicky going to pick up that purple chest to get the hammer? And when is Mentos going to finally bite the bullet and go into pod?
Well, he still has Ice Palace left on the full clearable crystal here.
So Nicky is heading over to 3. This looks promising.
It absolutely does, and that was a fantastic fight for Mentos.
Get wrecked, Lanmo.
So Nicky is likely going to... Yeah. She's gonna pick up the chest, then check Batcave, and then just flute over and deliver the chest.
Well, maybe not. I don't think she's checked the Grove Ledge. She might do that.
Oh yeah, that's true. And here's the ice dip.
Yeah, I said I was smelling a lot of Ice Palace coming off the seat a little earlier, but turns out not really.
Silvers could be here.
Yeah, you could get silvers, maybe a tempered sword.
Oh, Nicky's not gonna check the Batcave, unless she may have checked that earlier, but regardless, this is the right call. She's gonna be in go mode soon.
Yeah, I think she's just intending on checking the purple chest and then coming back to the Batcave, because if she didn't, she'd lose her mirror point.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case.
Now, we all know she's not actually going to do that.
Almost certainly not, and she is going to pick up that potion. Oh, half magic in the first chest in ice.
Ooh, that feels pretty good. It's a decent consolation prize for having to dip Ice Palace.
Considering how close that chest is, Nicky may still opt to check it when she gomos ice.
Yeah, because we'll be in sort of like the unhappy go mode where you'd like to get another sword or silvers. And there are a few chests along the way that I would probably check if I was still missing tempered or silvers.
Definitely, but with this, Nicky is going to be in go mode.
That's gonna do it. So
Swamp.
I expect Nicky to do swamp here because it's right here, but I expect it to be more of a go mode swamp.
Yeah, I doubt she's gonna be checking the left side here for possible swords or silver.
I would expect at most she might check the waterfall chest and maybe the 2 chests in the back in the flooded room, but probably not those.
Yeah, the one where you just push the block is essentially always checked. So I correct me if I'm wrong, but that was silvers. And over.
Mentos with the swag hover.
Half magic silvers in ice. All of these extremely useful items that are not required, but extremely helpful.
The strange thing is, though, those are in the 2 chest locations I would check if I was go moding ice and didn't have them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know absolutely what you mean. It's gonna be very interesting to see how Nicky's gonna play out her ice. And back to what I actually wanted to say, I believe it is 52 Master Sword spins for Ganon in total.
Yes, it's 12, 12, 24, and 4. So yeah. 12, 12, 4, and 24. Yeah. In that order.
Yeah, it's a very long and tedious fight, and you do need to get the the torch glitch, I should say, in order to be able to do that fight.
So what you do is you pull out a deck of cards, and every time you make a spin on Ganon, you deal 1 out. When you're done, you'll be through with the deck.
Assuming the deck has 52 cards.
That is true. If you have extra cards in your deck, or if you've lost your cards, there you go.
Well, as a former Yu-Gi-Oh player, my deck tends to have 40.
Oh, okay.
But otherwise, it tends to be 52. Also, I don't think Uno has 52 either.
It actually has twice that. Anyway, sorry, I'm a huge nerd.
It's off topic now. Let's move back to more important business, like ice physics.
I get the feeling we're not playing with a full deck here. Anyway.
Oh, you... So ice physics have been solved. So having Master Sword, will you opt to use that over the hammer on Argus?
Looks like we're doing actually Master Sword. We had a spin strat at one point there, doing the double pull.
Yeah, the first one was a double pull, but now she's going back to single.
Which is fine.
Yeah, I think the double is only faster if you can do it optimally, and I don't even know if it is faster, actually. And I still think... Yeah, I think Mentos only found 2 items.
But I do think Mentos has checked basically every chest in ice, so...
Yeah, he has checked everything.
We'll be on Cold Stare.
And opting for Bombos on the first phase. He's taking out the hammer here.
Interesting. With the half magic and the fire rod, I would kind of feel like that was the play. Oh, there it is.
So he unfortunately got hit there by the icicle, so he couldn't set up a continuation from the spin to get Coaster into the corner, but it does not matter.
Yeah, Cold Stare just melts completely to those shots. No, I think we had 3 items.
Yeah,
I think Ice-T had the last one.
yeah, it must have been 3. Well, it was only 2 important items.
Alright, so Nicky is now making the play on ice. This will be, I imagine, a quicker check for Nicky. So where will Mentos be heading next? Is it going to be a pod dip? It is.
This is still a race at this point because he just has pod left. Nicky still has to go back into pod to beat Helmasaur King.
Very true. Mentos will have to go find the big key in pod, which, if I recall, is in the dark rupee room.
Yep.
So he's not going to just find the bow and then just head straight to Helmasaur. There's a little bit of a process there.
And Nicky skipped out on half magic.
Nicky will be skipping half magic. We'll see if the silvers will happen or if it's just going to be a straight go mode.
You know, this could have been a very anticlimactic seed if the bow was right here at Sahasrara. Monkey has been picked up, and all the rupees in the world to give to this little monkey.
Nicky setting up the bomb jump. That looks pretty good to me. Yep.
I would argue that if Nicky does not pick up the silvers here, that this race could just be over.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to come back. There's Mentos picking up the bow. He's like, really?
Yeah, really.
So will Nicky check this chest in Ice Palace? Yes. Okay.
Oh, you have no idea. As a saving grace for her. Well, at this point, then, the only difference between our players will be Mentos having the half magic. But Nicky did pick up the green bottle earlier, or the bottle with green goo in it, so she does have more magic than what it shows at this point.
Yep, very true. And Mentosman now enters actual go mode, having picked up that Master Sword at 117.56.
Oh, Nicky spins a little bit too early on Coast there.
Mentosman, recognizing the fact that the remaining chests in the front have to have small keys, heading directly to the back.
And there goes the green potion from Nicky. Feels inclined to use it.
Nicky's on half a heart. Oh no! Nicky is going to leave and get some more safeties. And, you know, I wouldn't blame her at this point.
This has been a pretty rough seed with their heart count. Been sitting on blue mail for most of it. Fighter sword throughout a significant portion of the run. It's been a rough seed. And even though Nicky picking up 2 deaths on 2 bosses, Mentos himself has picked up 2 deaths this run.
looks like to me... So Nicky's actually going to go finish pod first, and then maybe go back to ice. And, you know, I don't fault anybody for that. If you take a death in one place and you leave, it's nice to do something else to get let the tilt wear off a bit.
There is no difference in which order you decide to do these dungeons. In terms of time, that is. Well, it's certainly a good thing that Quake wasn't found.
Yeah, I imagine we'll find Quake in Ganon's Tower somewhere. What do you think?
Yeah, I've seen that one before.
I mean, we may not, but it may be there.
It's literally 50%. It's either there or it's not. You're welcome.
We'll have a talk about probability later.
I know probability. I'm just having fun here.
I know.
17 hits with the hammer for the first phase of Helmasaur King. A single shot with the silvers.
Just a bomb pack on Helmasaur, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is Mentosman's 7th crystal, so we know what that means. It's time for everybody's favorite big key guessing game. You have 1 through 22. Those are the different locations you can find the big key in Ganon's Tower. Put your guesses in right now, and if you want, if you would like to be added to our leaderboard, or people who have subscribed or donated 250 bits or more to any of the Speed Gaming channels, can be added to our leaderboard, assuming you guess correctly. Feel free to play along either way, though. It's a time-honored tradition here in the Link to the Past Randomizer tournament. And what do you think is going to be, Marjevich?
You know, I've heard this rumor that you have a particularly evil half, and I'd like to see him meet his end.
Oh, man. Okay. So that's a 3 from you?
I tend to say 3, but more often than not, it tends to be 7 nowadays, I feel. But I still say 3 because 3 is my favorite number.
All right. I usually go with 14 on account of that's the chest that the evil Bob is guarding. So we will be cutting this off as soon as Mentosman enters Ganon's Tower on our screen.
Will still likely be a few extra chests being checked here to try and find Temper Sword. Nick is back in ice.
Alright, so Mentos is now heading into the right-hand side of Ganon's Tower. Chest number 1 is 20 rupees. Chest number 2 is a shovel. Well, the torch is definitely number 3 today. There's no way to go to the right-hand side unless you want to check Tile Room. No thank you. There's a small key on the torch. That's number 3.
I'm still satisfied with that.
I understand.
Also, this shovel could be a clue as to why they needed 29 digs for the shovel game.
Alright, chest number 4, another small key. Chest number 5, another small key. Chest number 6 is a red boomerang in chest number 7 is a piece of heart.
There's not gonna be any problems here with trying to find a small key at the end.
And there's the last small key in the map chest.
Yeah, the keys have been picked off. It's getting some Palace of Darkness flashbacks here.
Did Ganon's tower grow a mullet?
Yeah.
There's a +5 arrow upgrade in chest number 9.
Nicky will soon be back at Cold Stare.
Number 10. Potion. Number 11. Map. Number 12. Big 20. Number 13. Big heart.
It's not a store, but these are still some fine items to find with both a bottle and another heart container.
Alright, Nicky is back at Cold Stare. I'll lead her up to Ganon's tower soon.
He gets the right timing there with the spin.
Using the blue potion. Chest number 14 for Mentosman. Gonna go ahead and wait out the anti-fairy there. It's Quake!
Of course, Quake is in Turtle Rock. Also, Nicky has down Cold Stare.
Alright, so the back of this room, the Ice Armos Vanilla Big Key room. 15 piece of heart, 16 piece of heart, 17 big key. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Big key in chest number 17, Vanilla Big Key chest room. Not the same room. Not the same chest, but close by.
And that essentially removed that last glimmer of hope that Nicky could have had to make a potential Dark Magician right side gamble to try and save time.
Yeah. I think at this point the only way for her to catch up would have been like a tile room gamble. But not gonna happen because of where the big key is.
Now, I am a commentator, so I know I can curse, and both our players have died this run, so I don't know, maybe I should just be quiet throughout this gauntlet.
Looks like Mentosman is going to go ahead and get some safeties here in the safety fairy room. We got the bug net very early in the sea house, I believe.
Yeah, it was indeed in the sea house, and good to see the bug net being put to use.
And Mentos making quick work of that first gauntlet room, second gauntlet room. Once again, well done. We move on to the third, which is one of the easier ones in general.
He's sitting on 40 plus silver arrows, full magic with half magic. He is fully equipped to deal with these rooms. And no need to grab the anti-fairy, just rushes straight into Landmola's 2. Very nice first shot, second shot, and third shot.
Indeed. 3 arrows, 3 kills, and Landmo 2 goes down. Nicky now entering Ganon's tower. Finding no small keys on the right-hand side. Mentos gets the 1 cycle on the second Wizrobe room.
He has plenty of magic, so can still spend the fire rod in here and doesn't have to pick up the full magic in the next room. I really like that top right the torch being lit.
So we see Mentos is going to go ahead and check the chest in here. Finds the tempered sword in the top right chest. Woo!
And no more chest being checked. He has the weapon he needs.
It's like, we are done here.
Yep, he's skipping the chest. He's not looking for another sword upgrade at this point. He is fully capable and fully satisfied with having the tempered sword. Nicky is going to proceed through with the Ganon's tower, and she is going to make her trip to the big key, but at this point, Mentos has to do more than die to Agatu.
There's a nice double with that pattern.
And these patterns are not being very nice, so getting a double on that first one was really good.
And the triple to finish it off. That's a 2-1-3 situation here.
It's a fantastic 3 cycle for him, and also with Wesley91 subscribing. Thank you very much.
Alright, so Mentosman8 entering the Ganon fight with the Tempered Sword. A very nice weapon to have.
This is a fight that he's likely done upwards hundreds of times.
That should be... Did he get the 1 cycle first phase?
Yeah, it absolutely looked like that.
That is a timing I still have not figured out.
And then it's almost in phase 4, and Nicky now getting the big key. Ooh, that was really close from falling, but this is a potential setup for a quad. 1, 2, 3. Did not get a 4th because torches lit out and not quite getting the timing with, but in that situation it is possible to get 4 hits with silvers.
That is ridiculous. And there we go, Mentosman finishing off Ganon right there with a just ridiculous time. Considering the full clear swamp, full clear ice. Official time of 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 22 seconds. Congratulations to Mentosman.
He played that seed incredibly well, despite some unfortunate deaths and despite some other things not working out in his favor. Just fantastic execution, especially on those boss fights. And also thank you to Thy Reaper for your Twitch Prime subscription. English. Twitch Prime subscription. Thank you very much.
Words are overrated.
Yeah, it's like I tend to say, English is a language.
That is true. You cannot lie about that. Alright, we'll see if we can get Mentosman to come talk about this. we are now joined by our winner, Mentosman8. Congratulations.
Thank you. Not my cleanest run, but somehow still 133.
Yeah. So a couple of deaths early on kind of had you a little panicky, I think. Made you make some interesting plays. Having to do the full clear swamp, full clear ice, and you still get the 133. That feels pretty good.
That does. That Vitreous kill kind of set me back on track a little bit. I was super tilted until I pulled that through, and then kind of got my head together a bit.
Yeah. So both of you were in the Vitreous fight at the same time, and your opponent actually died in the Vitreous fight and came back, and I think you were just finishing up the Vitreous fight. Because that's a long fight with the fighter sword.
It really is. I meant to buy the 30 bombs from the bomb shop before I went to Mire, and then I decided to go to Swamp, and then it was just too out of the way to go buy them.
Yeah, and so your opponent was there with the bow and the Master Sword. Because they had already gone into pod, but they didn't have the hammer. Because they still hadn't gone to the purple chest. It was a very interesting sort of who's going to find their go mode item first situation.
So what did you think about this seed?
It was actually super friendly. If I hadn't died those few times on Death Mountain and been extremely tilted, that could have been significantly faster. The only thing it didn't have was swords. Swords were very late.
Yep, and I bet you were fairly pleased when you found Tempered.
Yeah, the blue potion in the basement of Ganon's tower, plus cape and half magic, when Master Sword was pretty much free. It was just much faster with Tempered.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, I don't think you were in any... I don't think you thought you were going to have problems doing it, but you're like, it's fast enough to check these chests, and if it's Tempered, it saves way more time, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Did the lack of swords impact your routing?
Not particularly. I probably put off Mire longer than I would have if I had a better sword, but other than that, most of the low percent stuff I'm pretty comfortable with, so I don't worry too much about it.
Also, can we say anti-fairy fire rod weird glitch hype?
Yeah, getting the fire rod and the boots right away after that glitch was found was kind of exciting. Unfortunately, I messed up the second part that is kind of weird in its own right, but I at least got the first part of it down.
Yeah, congratulations for being the first player in this tournament to perform that glitch.
And you got the... So that's going to guarantee you a slot in the bracket stage. Nicky with a very nice Aga 2 fight. So yeah, it's very close. The real, it would have been a much closer race, except Nicky died on Cold Stare once, and that basically put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, that was kind of my, I guess you could say, hope after all those deaths on Death Mountain was that my opponent was going to die to something that took longer than those. And Cold Stare Death and Vitreous Death combined are definitely in that category.
Yeah, that's the real problem there.
Kind of waiting to see how many bonks I had, because I was bonking left and right.
Yeah, that can happen. Oh my goodness. I did not realize this was something you could do. So Nicky was in the just directly above Ganon on phase 2 on the wall using using the space inside the what's it called? The trident to spin. I knew you could do it over in like the top right corner, but I did not know you could do it elsewhere. So, is there anything else you'd like to say about this seed? Let people know about before Nicky finishes here.
Early boots hype. That's about it. That felt good.
Type, indeed. And Nicky gets the triple and the single, and that will do it for Ganon as well.
Mentos, of course, you took your 5th win today, so with that you are qualified through to the next stage of this tournament. How are you feeling about that?
Kind of glad I made it there. It was kind of my target at the beginning. I just wanted to make it to brackets even if I lost in the first round, and then I felt kind of shaky the past couple weeks, so I wasn't really sure I was going to get there. So it's kind of a relief to hit my goal on that front.
All right, so we just see Nicky finishing up with an official time of 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 25 seconds, and I think we can bring her in as well. And we are now joined by Nickynoel. Congratulations on finishing this race, and well played.
No, sorry, definitely not. If you die to Cold Stay and Vitreous, just because you're even too stupid to buy potions, and
It can happen to just about anyone. And
yeah, but you should buy potions. That's basically the easiest thing to do in Randomizer. And what I did was, I mean, besides going to Maya the first time, which was bad, but going like, I have a bow, nothing can happen. And against Cold Stay, I was very convinced that I had a blue potion. I only bought one, and that was used against Vitreous.
Aw.
Yeah, now I've said the 3 things that basically already cost. Like, if I hadn't done these 3 easy mistakes, I would have probably won already.
So both of you were in the Cold Stare fight at roughly the same time, and you still had the pod to do, but Mentos hadn't found the bow yet, so it would have been a much closer race without that one death to Cold Stare. But it was actually pretty close, because your opponent also had some unfortunate deaths early on, so it was a very close race.
Except those deaths. And like that one dip into Maya when I realized I don't survive here and I don't have anything to beat Vitreous, really. It went relatively well. Like, finding those things was not really difficult. Obviously, would have been nice to go into Death Mountain, but I wanted to find Hammer or Mirror before going there, so I could do Hera on top. That Mirror wasn't Death Mountain. Well, it happens. It's a small thing.
Yeah. So you want to talk about having nothing to defeat Vitreous? Your opponent. So you guys entered the Vitreous fight at roughly the same time.
Yeah, not that time. There had the bow, but I shortly dipped Maya before that, where I only had fighter sword and no bow.
Right. But your opponent actually still had fighter sword and no bow, and he did 32 fighter sword spins on Vitreous's main eye to kill it. So basically, when you took the death to Vitreous and you came back in, you got to Vitreous roughly at the time he was finishing the fight, because it's a long fight.
That means he must have had. Wait, did he have a lot of potions, or did he hide in a corner and spin them single, like one by one?
Yes, I think both.
Oh my god.
Mentos was sitting on 2 hearts throughout, I don't know, 3-4 minutes in that fight.
Which was absolutely terrifying. Only not picking up that second bottle was a bad choice.
Definitely.
Yeah, we figured at that point you were thinking, I can't afford to waste any seconds picking this up. I just have to go. With that bottle.
That was. I mean, I got kind of lucky. I find the silvers. That was.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I could imagine people skipping that chest.
Yeah, so we thought you might check the first chest and that chest in ice. The first chest in ice was the half magic upgrade.
Dang. Yeah, for what looked like Master Sword Silverless, half magic could definitely have been great. But no, since I died to Vitreous already, I was like, can't afford it. But there was still like, it could go well. Even so, I was hoping for the hammer to be in the first chest of Swamp, but yeah, at least it was on the way.
Yeah, there you go. You got to do the Go Mode Swamp and Go Mode Ice. Your opponent did not, because they did not have the bow doing that. So that kind of closed the gap. But then the Cold Stare Death just kind of sealed it. But otherwise...
Wasn't there something else in pot?
The Master Sword.
Oh, right. I was like, there was something else. It wasn't just the bow in pot. But yeah, then that didn't unlock anything. Just made everything even more horrible.
Yeah. Well, still pretty good time here, considering all the shenanigans you had to go through to deal with this. And, I don't think anybody's going to fault you for, going for the Cold Stare fight even without those safeties. Just because you're in a big tournament race, you got to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, if I hit that first spin, I probably still make it even with just the green potion. That's obviously the other part. While I should have had the blue potion, I mean, it doesn't mean that I really had to need it. Same with Vitreous, obviously. If you have 35 arrows and a bow.
All right. So, yeah, pretty good run from both players. Nikki, you are still very much alive for the bracket stage. Just you get that next shot next week and
In 2 weeks.
make it in.
This round is a 2-week round.
Oh yeah, it is 2 weeks. You're right. Next round, then. Yeah, we're gonna have a slightly less crowded week, I think, for matches.
I guess we should clarify to our viewers that this round does actually last for 2 weeks.
Now, that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to have less rando.
Well, potentially even more that gets restreamed. But yeah, because of RPG Limit Break, for those who don't know, big RPG marathon where a lot of the rando tourney participants are also involved.
Yeah, so that's going to be something that you may want to tune into if you're interested in optimizing optimizing games that were not really designed to be speedrun.
It depends. But yeah, definitely longer games than you might usually see to be run.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that is pretty good. It was a pretty good run from both players. I think we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up. Is there anything else either of you would like to say to our viewers today?
I guess. Thanks for watching, everyone, even though I hope next time I can show everyone a better performance again. And also, yeah, of course, thanks for commentating, restreaming, and tracking.
Agreed on the better performance next time. I'm with you on that. And yeah, thank you guys. I know it was a pretty quick turnaround match, so thanks for getting this all put together.
No problem. I was just glad I had something to commentate this morning because I was going to be busy all evening. So, all right. So, thank you once again to both of our runners, Mentosman8 and Nickynoel. And best of luck to them in the next round. I want to go ahead and thank our crew in the background. We've got, the Speed Gaming crew running the restream. We've got Jighart on the tracker. So thanks for that. And of course, thank you to my co-commentator, Marjovic.
It's been a pleasure as always, and We do have some more races later on today. It's gonna be a long time though, but in about 4 hours, we will have Sterling Kalot 777 versus Unfit on ALTTP Randomizer, and Big Dunka versus Cephalar on Speed Gaming 4. Also, do remember to follow all of our Speed Gaming and ALTTP Randomizer channels at 1 through 6.
Mm-hmm. And of course, if you enjoyed anything you saw here today, the best way to support those people involved is to give them a follow here on Twitch, and I am sure we would all appreciate it. So with that, I think we're going to wrap things up. So I will just say that I have been Dr. Bobtastic.
And I've been Marjevich.
And we'll see you later.